Copilot is beyond fantastic in helping with Excel. Let me show you. So I downloaded the course materials this time. It's an Excel book. You can find that in the course materials below. Let me move it over here. So here I have employees, in fact, 90 employees in a sheet called employee absence. And by the way, these are all fictive people. I don't share personal information on anyone here. So each employee worked a number of days. For example, here Mads Jensen worked 215 days and had 3 sick days. Now we want to do some calculations. And here we will ask Copilot for help. We will even ask Copilot to generate VBA code for us in the end, so stay tuned. First of all, I can get Excel help. So before we move to the formulas, let's get some basic help. So I go over to Copilot, and here let's do some creative ones. That's usually the style I use. And here I can say, how do I create a table in Excel? So very basic questions. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar about, but let's say I don't have any Excel skills. I can get help very, very easily. So here it says, select a cell within your data. Let me just pick this one here. Go to the Home tab. I'm already there. Choose Format as a Table. That one is here. Pick a style for your sheet. Well, I like this one here. And then it says in the Create Table dialog box, confirm or set your cell range. This looks okay. A1 to C91. Mark if your table has headers. Ours have name, number of days worked, and number of sick days. I can click OK. We now have a nice table. I also want to add a column to my Excel table. So I just go back to the conversation, and here I say, how do I add a column to my Excel table, and hit enter. Again, I will get help. So to add a column to your Excel table, select any cell within your table, this one here. Go to the Table Design tab on the ribbon. We're already there, that is here. In the Properties group, choose Resize Table. We have then that over here. And here I can choose to resize it. That will be to include D and E. It also gives me an alternative solution. Copilot says I can just right click also, but let's just use this. So here I can just say, I also want to have the E. Click OK, and now I have 2 new columns. Let's go rename those. So here I'll call this one absence rate, and let me just double click between D and E just to resize. I also go up here and we will call this one high absence rate. Let me double click here. So we got it resized. Now I'm going to get formula help, and to do so, let's just have a new topic. And then we say, in the following, I am going to ask some questions about Excel formulas. My language in Excel is English. This might not be that important if you have English because that is default, but if you have a local language like German, or I have Danish in some of my computers, then this will be very important. Here I also need to specify what separator I use in my formulas. And again, if you use a comma, which is default, then you might not want to do this. But to be very clear that we get the results that we want, then we just add and use the comma as separator, like this. If you're in doubt what sign you use it as a separator, and we can, by the way, surround this with single quotation marks, then you can also go to a cell in anywhere in your Excel book. Here you can write equaled. For example, you can write sum, hit the first parentheses, that is parentheses start, and here we can see that we have a comma, meaning we use comma here. We could also have asked Copilot about that. So now I say submit. This is just to provide context about the Excel book. Now it says that Copilot says that it will do the best to assist us. We cannot upload this data to Copilot, and that is because all of this, that is personal information, and even combined with sick days and these things, it's highly confidential, so it will break several GDPR laws, which we will not do. What we will do is to use the Snippet Tool, that is the Snippet Tool in Windows 11, where we can take screenshots. So I press the print screen, and here I snippet out the column names and the column letters A, B, C, D, E. I do this. Now it's in my clipboard. So here I go down to the prompt. In the conversation where I specified the context, here I say Control V. Then you can see down here that we now have a screenshot attached. That is a screenshot that we just took. And now we can give our prompt. Here I say my Excel table has the column names on the attached image. And I can say column A is name, etc. Again, provide as much context as possible, then you will get more accurate results. So here I say, what formula should I use to calculate absence rate? And here I say I want the number as a percentage. I want the number as a percentage, as a number between 0 and 100. Then I say enter. Now Copilot will use its vision capabilities to just read the screenshot, because I haven't provided anything else. And here it's also very nice that we are not providing any other context than the column names, but we will let Copilot itself find out what's going on here. So sometimes it takes a little bit time when it's analyzing, which is fine. Now it comes. Imagine that. I know that this is not the most advanced formula, but it's a start. We will work in and get more advanced formulas later in this video. So here we have the formula, and you can see that it's now in a window, meaning we can go over here, hit copy. It's now in my clipboard. It's also say that here C2 represents the cell with the number of sick days, and B2 represents the cell with number of days worked. So here I can go over to absence rate, and I can just say Control V. There you go. We have our absence rate. Granted, not the most advanced formula. I want to round this to 2 decimals because I have a lot of decimals right now. I know I could do this up here, but imagine that I not have that knowledge, or even better, I want to include it in the formula. We can easily do this. So we just go down here. Here I say great, because Copilot worked great. Then I say adjust the formula to only use a maximum of 2 decimal places. Then I hit enter. Now it will take the formula that it just generated and it will adjust it. Now it's quick, because the reason why it was a little bit slow was because of the screenshot that it needs to interpret. Here it says that we can use the round function, and I just go up, copy here. Then I go back to D2, and the easiest thing is sometimes just to go up here, say Control V. If you get an error here, that's most likely because you didn't specify the correct separator, like comma, semicolon, or whatever you use. So that will be most likely the fix that you're going to use. I just hit enter, and then my table updates. It's that easy. I can also say that I want to fill in the high absence rate. So if an absence rate is above 3, then we define it as high, otherwise normal. And again, this is just arbitrary for this example. I go down here. So here I say I have calculated absence rate in column D, in column E, I want it marked as high absence rate if the absence rate is above 3 and normal absence rate if it is 3 or lower. Give me the formula like this. So it's just my plain English words that creates these formula. I hit enter. And now we will have it updated. So yeah, really, really nice this. And what I also want to do is that, let me just take this. I also want to do some visualizations and some very advanced VBA. So now it says that I'm using an if. I can just hit copy here. I go over here, say Control V. Oh, I did not copy it. Let's do it once more, like this. And now we have it in the high absence rate. So we can see here that this is a high absence rate. This is, and that's because it's above 3. So it's very, very nice for formula help. And imagine that I don't know any Excel. I can now do all these things very easily just using my own words. I can also get help to visualize data. So I go down here, then I can say, how do I make a box plot to visualize absence rate in column D? Then I'm getting instructions, and here's how you can do it. Select the data. Click and drag to select the data in column D that you want to include in the box plot. So here I need to click, and I go down here, do this. Then it says Insert Chart. Go to the Insert tab, click on the Insert Statistic Chart, and probably one of these here. And what we might want to do is to combo statistic. Here we have it. And here we have the box plot, box and whisker. So it guided us well. I can drag it out here. We can choose to format it. So here it says you can format it by right-clicking on the elements of the chart, like the boxes and whiskers here. And I can even do the title. And here I can, for example, say absence rate if I wanted that, and a lot of other things. I won't go too deep in what a box plot is, other than it shows the distribution of the absence rates. We will let it be there. Now I'll do some very advanced stuff. I'll do VBA, and this is because you might want to use VBA to automate your Excel sheets. We're not doing the most advanced VBA right now. I want to show you how to do it. You can easily modify it and create more advanced stuff. So let me scroll up. Let's just do a follow-up prompt here. So here I say create VBA code, and let's talk about what this VBA code should do. I want to color these absence rate green if it's below 2, yellow between 2 and 3, and red for over 3. So again, that could be done with conditional formatting, but with VBA we can automate it, and we can add a lot of other stuff to automate Excel with VBA. So here I say create VBA code, and here what I want to do is to say that colors the cells in the absence rate column D. I usually do this just to make perfect sure that Copilot is giving us the correct results. So it might not be needed, but based on what I work on, when I work with Copilot a lot, adding these things will help you tremendously in getting the best results. Depending on the amount of absence, colon, and now I have a Shift Enter just to change line without sending the prompt. I repeat, hold Shift in and press Enter. So here I simply just say green for absence under 2, Shift enter, yellow for absence between 2 and 3, shift enter, red for absences over 3. Shift enter 2 times, and then I can say provide a little bit more context. My Excel sheet contains column names, and the tab is called employee absence. Then I hit enter. So not a lot, and now you will see some really impressive stuff. And here it will generate the code. This is so impressive. I wrote a lot of this code in my career as an automation developer, VBA and other stuff, and the speed it does this. And yes, I could have written this myself in like 5 minutes. Now I could do it in 1. But imagine that we need to do even more, that we need to do a lot of VBA or whatever code we use. Then this is very efficient. Again, I go up here, press copy. Now it's copied to my clipboard. And it even gives us a guide on how to do it. To use this code, press Alt F11. So I go back here, and then I press Alt F11. Then this Visual Basic for applications shows up. I could also find it through the developer tab up here if you have that. But that's another story. Then I go to Insert, Module it says, paste the code in. So I say Control V. Now we pasted the code in. And here it says that close the editor. Let me just close this one here. And then it says run the macro by pressing Alt F8 and select the color absence rate and click Run. Let's go do that. So I say Alt F8. And here you can see that I can choose the macro that I just used. And in fact, I can also schedule this, which will be a much more advanced exercise. Now, when I click Run here, you will see that the absence rate colors it. Here, it took a little bit too long. We can easily fix that. So what I want to do here, you can see that it's fixed to D100. So when I find out of this, then I will say that this VBA, I just use my own words, this VBA script colors a fixed number of rows, 100 rows. I want to color, I want to only color the cells with data. So now it will update the script, and we can use that instead. Let me just first, so we can see it works, I can go over here, I can go up and do this. So now I just remove the color because then we can test it. Here we can see that now it updates when it used, up here it says D2 to D100. Then down here it says D2 to last row. It finds the last row up here. That's another benefit of Copilot. It documented code. So you can see here, find the last row with data in column D. It do that up here. So again, I click copy, and if I forgot how I added it, I could find it up here. I need to press Alt F11. Here it is. And let me just copy the script. I delete this, press Control V. Now we have it here. I can close it. Then I can say Alt F8. Now when I run it, you will see that we will not color these ones green. That's nice. So we can also write other kinds of codes, and that could be PowerShell. Let me show you how efficient that is. So we can close down the Excel. I can choose to save or not save. Here I need to save it as a macro-enabled book. That's fine. Or I can just click save like I did. So right now we need to create a script that will use PowerShell. So I say new topic. And here I will say generate a PowerShell script that creates a folder on the user's desktop named Copilot folder. PowerShell is a scripting language that a lot of IT departments uses. Here I say include detailed comments for each line of code to explain what it does, like this. That's all it needs. Now it will generate the script, and while it does that, I can go to my start menu. Here I search for PowerShell. I think I will go with the Windows PowerShell here. I have also the PowerShell core installed, so I will just use the PowerShell here. What I need to do is to right-click, run as administrator. Now my screen probably turned black for you, but that was just because I needed to press yes. So here we are getting the script, and again it comments the code. You can see here now in PowerShell the comments are behind a hashtag. Let's copy it, and here it also do an if-else that checks if this path already exists on the desktop. So if I go over here, I can Control V to paste it in, and I hit enter. There you go. We now have a Copilot folder on our desktop. Isn't that impressive? And I can even try to test it to see if this Copilot already exists on the desktop. Right now you can see we got a message called folder, Copilot folder created on desktop. So again, I can say Control V. Now I can see that the folder Copilot already existed. Really, really nice. It can also create other kind of coding languages like C#, C++, and Python. I can hit new topic here. Here I can say write C#. I use C# a lot. And I got a lot of help with C#. Then the first 20 Fibonacci numbers. Add extensive comments to the code. And here it will, and this is what it's very good at because there's a lot of documentation on C#. There you go. You can also see the comments. In C#, it's with 2 forward slashes. Your next Copilot lesson is right here.